Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
There was pre-show gold, everybody. An hour of it.
It was mostly like old men health grumbling.
Nah, then there was other stuff.
It was more like
Travel
three friends that haven't talked to each other in a little while.
Yeah. We could literally do this without recording it, and it'd be fine, too. So, whatever.
But we're happy to have all of you listening in.
Happy to share the good stuff with you. So
yes. So we're going to go over what we're looking to watch over the next, I guess, 2 months, right? 2 months.
Things we're excited about this summer, yeah. Yeah, summer. And then some other stuff. We'll see about that.
It's fun. I feel it is convention season, so there's conventions. We're going to go to a couple. We're going to Terrificon. If anyone... I think it's the next great small convention.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I think so.
It's in Connecticut. They got good guests. Barry and I went last year. It's not too crowded. I'm surprised.
Yeah. And it was very comic centric, unlike a lot of the shows we go to that are basically Funko Pop centric.
Yeah,
so.
but there's also good guest
so
lists.
True, Barry.
Good guest lists.
Yep.
There's
good guests,
people.
good comic artist guests, good celebrity guests, and it was
there's Haley Atwell. Need we say more?
I mean, Haley's there. We're going to be there. So
yeah. So anyway,
restraining orders be damned.
Exactly. It's funny. I was watching a video about an Adam Savage video on Tested, and sometimes he reads questions and answers them, and he does it on a live stream. So one of the questions was, do you ever have any fan interactions where they've gotten too touchy-feely?
I saw that too.
So
yeah,
and then he described some woman once grabbed his ass, and then he said, there's a lot of women, famous women, who in photo opportunities, men will grab a woman, grope them inappropriately, and I'm like that, and he's like, rightfully so, those people are assholes. And it made me think of Haley Atwell, and I do remember standing next to her, and I'm like, I am not touching her. But she put her arm around my waist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I put my arm around her waist. I mean, because it was weird not to. So, but I definitely thought that just really popped into my head.
Well, from the Mission Impossible movie, she's used to hanging out with older men, so...
I just remember Linda Hamilton when she basically
assaulted you,
put me in a bear hug, and kissed me on the lips. So
yep.
I didn't ask for any of that, but hey, she's Sarah Connor, so you can't say no.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess. But so don't be inappropriate, and I'm very conscious of that. Anytime you take a photo with anybody.
We've always been super respectful, obviously,
yeah.
but I've never seen anybody not be, but I'm sure it happened.
I don't know.
Dave, I seem to remember when you were in a Batman costume one point, you got mauled by a person in a Wonder Woman costume.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But that's
when Dave's in tights, all bets are off.
It's
all
just
bets
true.
are off.
It's just true.
Yeah. My jaws of life are on the fritz, so that's why I'm not wearing that anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, so be respectful at the cons. But if they get close to you, it's okay to be there. So whatever. Anyway, let's go some random. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So Rey's return to Star Wars reportedly paused as Lucasfilm prioritizes other projects.
Oh, I didn't see that, actually.
Just like... So
I don't actually even feel like that's new news. I feel like that they've been saying that now for a couple of months.
Yeah,
I really thought that was about to, or was on the verge of filming.
And so it's, I guess that they're prioritizing the Sean Levy and James Mangold Star Wars films, but it's not.
Well, the
canceled,
Sean Levy one
just temporarily
sounds like
on hold.
it's happening.
So.
Yeah, and the James Mangold one, I think, is I mean, they've been talking about that they're pretty far along on the writing process of that one. They've had four writers, I think, on the Rey movie, and
they
have been unable.
They've lost
to
a couple
get
directors.
A script.
How
yeah,
can they not?
no, the director is still Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy, but she's the one that New Year's Eves ago was on CNN talking about how it's about time women are being put in positions of power with Star Wars, not knowing, I guess, that Bryce Dallas Howard had directed episodes and
Kathleen Kennedy runs the studio.
And the entire Kenobi series was show run by a woman.
Yeah.
She made those comments and has been unheard from since. She hasn't done an interview about Star Wars since that I've seen. But
I don't know. You know when there's a Star Wars movie? When you can buy tickets to it. That's when there's a Star Wars movie.
You just nailed it right there. That's when you can start looking forward to a Star Wars movie, when they're putting tickets up for pre-sale.
We know we're getting the Mando movie, so that's actually that's in the can
know that.
Now.
I will say, this is one that they got to be really careful with. They've got to. If they don't, I would rather, if they don't have this right, if they don't have a good story, if they don't have something they can do something with, just let it sit in the back burner.
Daisy Ridley is young enough that even if they wait another 10 years, they can still do a movie where she's an older Jedi.
15 years afterwards. The concept that they sold her on is really, really vague, and apparently it hasn't really got beyond that. So, yeah.
I mean, part of me is glad that they're not doing stuff until it's written. Not that means it's good, but there was all these interviews with James Gunn. James Gunn's like, everyone films without a solid script. You cannot film without a solid script, and that's 1,000% true.
Yeah.
And I think he's been incredibly successful in everything he's done recently.
The other thing is, what you get when you don't do that is you get movie by committee. And we've seen so much of that. And the problem is, when that happens, no one hesitates to talk afterwards about what was different, what was changed, what was different, what was could have been, should have been, would have been stuff. And it's like, either you keep things tight or you have a plan and you stick to the plan. So, yeah.
I feel like Sean Levy's that same kind of guy. He's going to do what he's not going off half-assed. But what are you going to do? We'll see. We will see. Does anyone have tickets for the future movies? I bought Superman tickets like a week ago.
I haven't.
I know, Todd, you don't need to.
I don't.
I got to figure that out. I want Fantastic Four tickets. I want Superman tickets, but I haven't. I've been preoccupied, as you guys know. More to come on that in the future, but I have to get my act together with that. So
yeah, I'm like, I want to get Superman. I'm most excited about.
So we're close enough to both of these. Which is going to be a better film and which is going to do better?
Superman on both counts.
I think so too.
And that might be the right answer. I'm hopeful Fantastic Four is a better movie. I will be brutally honest once again, and I will take my lumps if I have to. I am not super excited by this Superman trailer. Like, it just feels like there's too much stuff in there. And
there's a lot of... I agree.
When I see Lois Lane flying a spaceship, I'm like, what the hell
is
this?
I'm trying not to watch anything. It's everywhere. It's dog bone commercials. Fucking Warner Brothers, and I don't blame James Gunn on this. Warner Brothers, the scumbags that we know they are milking this thing for everything it's worth.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking to, buddy.
I just hope it's great. I want it to be great, but when I watch that trailer and I see so many things going on, it just makes me nervous.
That's not him. I don't think that's him.
No, I know. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm looking at the trailer and seeing what I'm seeing.
But I'm not. This is not a tit for tat. But I'm seeing the Fantastic Four trailers, and I'm like, I really don't care. This just sounds like this just. The baby carriage and Herbie. They're going to make this into a jerk show. I feel like you're just shoehorning every trope of Fantastic Four into this.
I think you kind of have to, because every other version of Fantastic Four has strayed from the original so much that I think they're going to hit all the beats that people think of when they think of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, the Fantastic Four didn't have any of that until 20 years into the run, right? or somewhat.
but,
anyway.
but they're engaging fans who have picked it up at various different points. There's not. I mean, the majority of people looking at this didn't read the '60s comics, but they read the John Byrne run or they read whatever. So, and then you got people who have never been exposed to it whatsoever, who've got to kind of get this overview. Where they've tried to, what they've done in the other versions is they've tried to like reimagine the Fantastic Four for another age, and that hasn't worked.
Yeah,
particularly the last one. And I think this is going to be again, I'm optimistic for this, and I think it's going to be good. I do not know how well it's going to be received. So,
I mean, you're out there in the world with, let's say, not hard. You got to make your money with the general public, I think, these days.
Right.
And if anyone's been like our age, like there's another is the third Fantastic Four reboot.
Right. But
It's
I'll
got
also
Pedro
say
Pascal
this
in it, and
is
he is
the way they
super
should
hot
be
right
selling
now.
this thing is this should be the Marvel movie you can see without having ever seen a Marvel movie. That's what they should be doing right now, because it's that's what this should be. This should be the first truly standalone thing since Iron Man.
No, Eternals was standalone.
So
it was awesome. Anyway, okay, Barry, what do you got?
Well, it's funny. I was actually not even... I had written this one down and I was going to skip it, but piggybacking on what Todd said, here's a recent quote from Kathleen Kennedy. We've broadened the possibility of stories and filmmakers we can bring in to tell stories that mean something to them. It doesn't necessarily have to connect to every little thing that's been done in Star Wars. It can actually be a standalone story that then builds into many, many other stories. She says this as if this is a revelation. This is what The Mandalorian Season 1 was. They figured this out 6 years ago. But then they decided not to do it.
Yeah, then let's bring Boba Fett into it.
Right.
I will also,
I mean, that's exactly what
Right.
Mando started as. Season 1 of Mandalorian was that quote right there.
right. And one of the things that they've got to figure out is, I honestly think making the Mando movie was a mistake. I think they should have kept TV on one timeline and
I agree
developed
with
other
that.
timelines for films. So,
And that was the plan. But
Oh, I
when
know
the
that,
Rey
but they
thing
got
didn't
greedy.
come together, Bob Iger said, get me a goddamn movie
Right.
in theaters.
oh yeah, because they saw the Baby Yoda toys that were selling, and it was like, even before he had a name.
I'm not even sure it was that. I think it was that they realized the Rey movie wasn't coming together, and they haven't had a movie in theaters.
Yeah, but as a result,
Since-
they haven't had, they curtailed the TV shows, and and they basically put everything on hold. And I think, I don't know.
Well,
I think they would have been much better
They were
off.
banking on the Acolyte doing really well.
Yeah,
So-
apparently so.
I don't think.
No,
I mean, what do we see different on the big screen that's not on the small screen? I mean, there was a
gonna
lot
be
going on in
more,
Mando.
well, I think it's going to be a more epic scale.
They had 32 years to play, 30 some odd years, right, to play with, in the span between the first episode of Mando and the sequels. Okay, that's all runway. That was wide open to them. If they had focused on that and done everything in that time frame, it would have been really, really smart. And instead, like I said, we get the Acolyte, and it's So and now, like I said, that whole universe is kind of on hold, waiting for the Mando movie. So
Yeah, true. I mean, we should be having another series.
this
Ahsoka
is
should have been
the-
first.
This is the Marvel mistake translated to Disney. Okay, it's where they made these TV series which should have been standalone things with little Easter eggs and stuff like that, and they made them too tied into what the movies were going to be, and then they made it unintelligible for people who weren't following everything. And that's what I don't think people haven't watched The Mandalorian are going to be excited to see the Mandalorian movie, because they're going to feel like they're going to be feel like, oh, I don't know this. It's like.
But I think that's why they're doing the Starfighter movie, because it is
I agree,
supposedly
Barry.
not
I agree.
connected to
But that's what I'm
anything.
saying. But I'm saying they think this Mandalorian movie is going to be the end all be all, and I think what's going to happen is people are going to say, "Oh, I haven't seen the other stuff," so
I just think they felt like they needed to get something safe on the big screen with the Star Wars logo in front of it,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I saw that trailer that was leaked from Celebration that they pulled down immediately. It looked great, so I'm excited for it.
And and Grogu popcorn bucket. What else?
Yeah,
I'm sure there will be at least
how
one.
How could you not want that? But to trade
who has space
to,
for that once you have a Galactus?
To trade
You
getting
see the Galactus popcorn bucket? It's like
Jesus.
To trade getting 8 hours of story once a year to getting 2 hours of story in 4 years. It's like I think they made a mistake.
No, I can't argue with that.
So.
Okay. So I'm going now, whether you're done or not, because we could do 6 hours on this stuff, and I'm happy to, but no one else would be. So there's auctions. I got a 7-pound Heritage catalog today that I haven't looked at any of it, but had any of you guys seen the Julian's auction? Barry, had you seen
I'm aware that it's happening. I haven't gone through the catalog yet.
It's over.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't go through the catalog.
Well, this is the interesting thing. So I'm going to send you a picture. So I was going through. It wasn't a huge. They had sort of an old Hollywood and a newer Hollywood section. The newer Hollywood ended Friday or Thursday, I think Thursday. So I'm going through it. There were 2 Indiana Jones hats in there. One was a test hat from the Crystal Skull. I'll send you that picture too. And that had an estimate of $25,000 to $35,000 on it. And right before that, there was a Indiana Jones hat that had a $2,000 to $4,000 estimate on it. And I'm like, what? So this hat, what I seen you has the selling price on. This hat was from The Last Crusade, and it was from the first opening scene when he's on the second scene, not when he was a kid, the Coronado, and he's in the water, and the ship blows up, and he's in the water, and he actually takes his hat and he squishes it down. So this hat dried that way. And if you see the picture, you can see. I
was going to say this hat doesn't look right, but now that you give me that explanation, I understand.
But the estimate was $2,000 to $4,000. So I said to myself, in a world where nobody else sees this, I will buy it. There's no way I won't buy that. But alas, it went for $195,000. Now, in the world of Indiana Jones hats, that's relatively cheap.
Yeah, but that's in line with, because an unwet and crushed one would be $350,000.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I was shocked by the estimate. Did someone think they could just sell that for I'm assuming the reserve was $2,000, because the reserve is usually the low estimate.
I just wonder if that wasn't just the person who owned it knew it was going to go high and they just wanted to start at a low opening bid.
But to me, and here's the question I want to ask you guys. Would you, if you were to win that for whatever money, a reasonable number, which in our world is probably $50,000, it goes for some, would you, I'm like, if I could win that for some money I could actually afford, I would have it reblocked to look like the regular hat. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do you guys?
If you can get it cheap enough, no. You run you always run the risk of something going wrong and it be getting, I won't say ruined, but not turning out the way you want it to, in which case you might actually affect the value.
But the thing with hats, and I've done some research when I was looking to buy one of the original hats, and this is from the whoever that Herbert Johnson.
Yep.
Felt hats are steamed and reshaped all the time. If you own a really good hat, Stetson,
that was a thing. That was a thing.
That's a
used
normal
to have your hat
thing.
Blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like Indiana Jones, if you're in theory, and that's a whole other day's discussion of, is this the same hat he's had in every movie? If the movie was real, is there just one hat? Or does he just have a closet full of them?
No, he loses it.
I think he loses them quite a bit.
He loses it, and then he goes and picks up another one. Just like you would with a baseball cap. Okay, this isn't part of his persona. It's a practical thing that he uses and wears.
Okay, maybe
That
not.
he's
I don't know.
had
But
since,
anyway,
since that guy put the hat in his head as a kid. Okay, since he gave up his campaign hat that he wore as
He
a
considers
as a
it
scout.
part of his uniform, so to speak.
yeah.
Like, he always has.
But
a hat
let me
like
ask you this:
that, but-
to me, I'm thinking if Indiana Jones, let's say the life of one of his hats is 5 years, I guarantee he's had it reblocked a dozen
numerous
times.
times.
So then that's why I think it's okay to do that. You could turn this into the perfect Indiana Jones hat.
You could, but I would also say this: as it sits right now, it screen matches to that scene.
Well,
Which
it doesn't
adds-
say it's screen matched.
Well, but you probably, I mean,
You know that scene. You can't screen match anything.
no,
to that
but
scene.
you've got a better shot. You can justify it looking the way it does by saying it's the hat from that scene.
I don't know.
If you reblock it, it might display better, but it's
I'm
no
curious
longer.
what Spina would think about that.
Well, I happen to be having dinner with him in a few nights, so I'll ask him.
Ask,
and I'll
I'm
come,
just,
I will
yeah,
come
it'd be
back with,
interesting
with
because
Tom's response.
They
to that.
restore. He's a guy who restores everything. So I mean, stuff needs to be restored. Do you restore that to look like an Indiana Jones hat?
Well, and all right, I apologize now if this sounds like a 1% thing I'm about to say, but so I've had the opportunity to see a number of these hats in person.
What a fucking douchebag!
The
I
hat
am a
dropper
douchebag.
again. He's doing the hat drop again.
I know I'm doing the hat thing, but I will say this, and I've shared this with you guys before. When we finally found the real Raiders hat in the Lucasfilm archives, you know immediately that, oh my God, that's the Raiders hat. It just has a certain look to it that the hats from the other movies didn't have. And we had at one point a hat from each movie out on the table. And the Raiders hat looked, you just knew.
And when
I
you
think
picked
this
it
is
up,
even a different color.
did it glow like kind of brightly like the Grail?
I'm not admitting to having picked it up here on
Oh,
this
okay.
podcast.
Okay.
But
Anyway,
yeah.
I thought that was
no, it's an
interesting.
interesting question that you posed,
the
Dave.
Grail
And I'm
might
really-
just kind of like come into the focus and say, "You have chosen wisely, Barry." That's right.
It's pretty sweet when you see
But
it in person.
195 is a good deal for a real indie hat to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you can't deny that.
so
I will.
Anyway.
I'll see what kind of feedback we get from our friend Tom.
any other random?
I'll save what I had because I know we were trying to not
Yeah.
go too long.
I will say this: Logan's Run premiered on this date in 1976, and as we record this, it's June 23rd. Not
Okay.
quite the excitement of the 50th anniversary of Jaws, but then again, let me just say box. You know, it's just
Why is Vineyard Vines not making Logan's Run T-shirts?
I don't know.
That's it.
I think it would be more of a Victoria's Secret Jessica something or
I can
other.
see that, but they could make a box shirt because he talks about plankton from the sea. That's kind of got a nautical thing going.
Well, anyway. Okay. But you know who's awesome? Fanboy Collectibles. Gotta get there somewhere. Sideshow, what's this guy's name? Pagetti?
I just look at him and say that's Weequay. I don't know why they've given him this full-on Spaghetti Rook name, but he's Weequay.
Yeah, so that's up for pre-order, but
It looks amazing, by the way. Like
Yeah.
Sideshow.
Yeah,
it
that's-
really
that's
does.
funny.
Sideshow
That's-
hasn't done. I mean,
the Sideshow stuff when they used to do the heroes and villains that I bought 20 years ago, this is light years ahead of that. So that looks awesome.
Sideshow
but-
stuff always looks better on alien heads and helmets. And, their human faces have never been like Hot Toys quality, but this thing looks amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
But there's anything you need. Talking about pops, they got pops. There's Hot Toys. There's Hasbro. There's So Toys, Hono Toys, all the toys.
I know we mentioned it a few weeks ago, but you can pre-order the Hot Toys James Bond No Time to Die, very first James Bond Hot Toys figure. It's going to be awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome. But check those guys out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Barry, what's that shirt you're wearing?
I am actually wearing a From Dave's Workshop t-shirt, Dave.
There
I
you
was
go.
actually just
Thank
going to
you.
ask you. I know I always ask you what's going on there, and I realize you can't talk about it. So why don't you tell us a little bit just about the type of work that you're doing at From Dave's Workshop?
I can tell you, I think I mentioned it before, I did build the display for a Titanic vest. This was a 40 by 24 acrylic case with this whole oak bottom. And then I'm getting ready to ship it mostly across the country. And I think I've posted this, but I'm like, I'm building a wooden crate for this because I don't.
So I
trust
was going to
it.
ask you. I saw you posted a picture of a wooden crate that you built. Was that was for that?
That
Titanic?
was for that. Yeah,
Okay.
I've the previous largest thing I've done. I was a 50 by 20 thing. I built a wooden crate for because you just don't know what's the post. No offense to all the post people, but. UPS and everything, but stuff gets damaged. So I'm hoping it all gets there in one
when
piece.
you have an awesome set of tools like you have in a nice workshop, you might as well build a nice wooden crate.
And listen, wasn't that hard? And I mentioned this to Todd because I sent them a picture. Todd and I used to do a photo story called Aesop. How many years ago? 25 years
25.
ago. 20 years. Yeah, 20 years ago. 25 years ago at this point. And I would build sets, and I would build them on either 4x8 sheets of 1/4-inch plywood as the floor, or 4x4 sheets. I've had all those. They've traveled with me to this house, and we haven't. But I have been making crates out of those floors. This one on one side was stained to look like an oak floor, and I remember carving the planks in with an X-Acto knife to make a wood parquet floor. But that is now a crate on its way across the country. So if you order something that's big, you may get a crate too. And I made up a From Dave's Workshop stencil with the number from the crate from
Yes,
Raiders
I
of
caught
the
that. Was
Lost Ark.
brilliant.
I did
Absolutely
notice
brilliant.
that. Yes.
Yeah, I posted that on Instagram too. But anyway, so that's what I'm working on. My Superman crystal, which I'm okay to talk about now, arrived in one piece. I was nervous because that was a fairly fragile thing, but I used a ton of the popcorn that I bought that you picked up for me, Barry. So that got
And what
there.
what was the client's reaction when he finally saw that all put together?
I'll send you a picture. He was thrilled about it. Really
good.
thrilled about it.
Good.
Yeah. He has a picture of himself, almost giving the Fonzie thing, but
That's great.
he's thrilled about it. I'm working on something else for them. But anyway, so I've been busy. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And where do they find out more about all the stuff that you do, Dave?
They could find out from davesworkshop.com. I actually got that right. Or you can email me. Here's my email address, from davesworkshop@gmail.com. Check me out.
Nice.
And I'm in Instagram. Thank you. Okay. Television. So how do we want to do this?
So let's talk about what we're. First of all, what are we watching right now, or what have we just finished watching? Because
we can do that.
There's some stuff that I know some of us have just wrapped up, and then we'll go on to what we're looking forward to.
Okay, you go first. I'm watching non-genre stuff right now.
Well,
but
we both just finished Mobland, which was
yes.
which
was,
was-
that to me was last time. But yeah, Mobland, which was good.
which is good. I mean, it only finished 2 weeks ago, but it was good, and
Did it really? Jeez.
it was just 2 weeks ago. And they'll obviously they've got to do another season of that. It's if you think you know Helen Mirren, you haven't seen this show. It's good. I definitely
It's
recommend
definitely
it.
worth it. It's a good watch. Yeah.
Resident Alien came back. I think there's 3-4
I
episodes
think
out
it's
now.
3 or 4 episodes. I'm only 1 or 2 episodes.
I'm
in the
3
end.
in. I didn't see last night's episode. It's fun. They got a different direction to go with, and they're kind of working that a little bit. And
I know I texted you guys about this, but I do feel like one of the actors on the show had some plastic surgery that
nope,
makes them
she
almost
lost a crap load of weight.
unrecognizable.
She was thin already.
She looks
I'm telling you, she lost a crap load of weight. So,
okay. That's very possible, but I actually thought they recast the role.
No, she's just her face and her arms are super thin, and I'm telling you, we were both saying the same thing, and then you saw her in something where you saw that, and it was like, yeah, she's really lost a lot of weight. So
It took me a little bit to get back in the groove with that show because I honestly didn't remember where everything left off, and they didn't do a very good recap at the beginning of the first episode. So I was kind of lost, and then it finally all came back to me. But I just love Alan Tudyk, so anything he's
it is great. It's great.
What else, Barry? If anything you're done watching?
Well, do we want to talk about Last of Us, or do we want to save that as a separate topic?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I finished *Handmaid's Tale*, which was a slog.
I have some things that are as equally.
I had to finish it. I was very Todd on this one, and I was like, when we started it, we made it through 5 seasons. I'm going to finish the 6th season. It was slog, and I really didn't like the way it ended, but okay. I am keeping up with Murderbot. Are either of you guys keeping up with that?
Yeah. I haven't kept. I watched the first 2. I really haven't.
It got better.
I'm an episode behind.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything compelling.
It gets better after the first 2. I don't think I've said this in the show. I've said this to you guys. I think I would like this show a lot more if I hadn't read the books, because the direction they had to change to make this live action and have other characters interacting with him and stuff like that. The narrative isn't as it's not
in his head the way you would be in the book. I'm guessing
you're in his head the whole time, but it's also like I think they would have thought they would have felt like he was overdoing it, because it's like 70% in his head. But that's what makes it really funny in the books and really fun.
Yeah.
And I think here it would have felt very overdone.
Yeah.
So because he's like, there's for every conversation he has, it's what's in his head, then what he actually says, and then what they say, what's actually in his head, and then what he actually says, and it's a little more like kind of calculated thing. And
I think the challenge I'm having with it, and I'm enjoying it, but I think most of the ancillary characters are unlikable.
That is one of the things is, I will say, these are pretty much the characters from the book. They are from the first book.
Okay.
And the one character they've weakened to make her, I don't know, more human or something like that, but she's Mensa is a much better character in the book. Okay. And I think they leaned it, the humor in the books is his perspective on humans. The humor in this is them being goofy. And that's just, it's not necessary. Again, like I said, I like it. I can't.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm going to keep watching it. It's enjoyable, but I think I thought it would be a little different than it's turning out to be, but that's okay.
And I'll say this, Barry, there's 7 books, they're novellas, they're short reads. Once he gets away from these people, more or less, it's much more interesting. Because he's kind of on the run, and he's kind of like interacting with people, and they don't necessarily know.
Well, Apple renews everything because they're just unlimited amounts of money there. So hopefully we'll get that second season
again,
of that.
I don't not recommend it. It's doing well. People, it's just. And I talked to Jim Bush about this because he'd read the books also, and he had exactly the same thing. It was just like it's just they had to change the format significantly to make it work, and that's what I'm kind of bumping up against.
I think just about everything else that I'm watching is not genre related.
Oh, me too. Yeah. We watched The Better Sister. We had nothing to watch, and it was okay. Thriller, sort of. Jessica Biel. Can't go wrong with that.
Okay.
I watched...
Elizabeth Banks was in it, too.
Yes,
it was always good.
It was always good to see. I watched Sherlock and Daughter on CW. The first thing I've seen on CW forever.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was a thing.
Never
David
heard of it.
Thewlis, and then a woman who I don't recognize, but she's been in a bunch of things. It's actually pretty good for like TV Sherlock Holmes. It's slow. It was one of these 8-episode things that could have been 4. But, for a TV thing, it was clever. It was kind of interesting. It's something I haven't seen them do exactly this before. And it kind of worked. The interesting thing was, as soon as I finished that on CW, because I haven't been on the CW app in years, it said, you may also want to watch. And they had 3 of the 4 series of PBS aired Sherlock Holmes series from the 80s and 90s, which were brilliant and have been the best versions of the Jeremy Brett series, been the best Sherlock Holmes adaptation ever. And I ended up rewatching like 20 hours of those. And so I don't know whether they bought that rights to that just because they wanted to tie in.
Yeah, they've been buying a lot of off.
But that stuff it's still great. Whenever you go back and watch those, it like I said, it really is the best adaptation of Sherlock Holmes ever, and they're just a lot of fun. So I watch those. Currently, there's a show called Revival. It's on Sci-Fi. 2 episodes. It's based on a comic that ran for like 30 some odd issues a couple of years ago, ended a few years ago. Really, really interesting premise. Basically, everyone who's died within a certain period of time, just like 30 days.
Oh, you mentioned this to us,
yeah.
or we mentioned on the show?
I might have mentioned
last
on the
week.
show. Comes back, and so it's kind of like they're not quite zombies, but they're not quite normal. And the show is about discovering the degree to which they're not quite normal. And I think it's pretty well done. It's fun so far. They had to, again, it deviates from the book, but the characters are very, very similar. I cannot think of what his name was. The lead from Jag is in it. And then
I know the guy you're talking about.
yeah,
Really?
Melanie Scarfino, I don't know how to say the last name, who plays Pike's girlfriend, the captain of that other ship.
Okay.
She's the
Okay,
lead,
yeah.
and she's really good. And so again, like I said, I'm enjoying it, and I like the book a lot. It's similar enough that I'm not having the Murderbot thing where I'm feeling like, oh, they didn't do this right. So that's worthwhile. And I think that's about it for current stuff.
Yeah, I'm not watching a lot of genre current stuff. I'm watching Long Way Home. It's genre in that it's Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
We've watched all of those. I don't know, Barry, if you know anything about it.
I'm aware of them. I've never seen any of them.
Not only, I like seeing him. I do like, I don't know if I like motorcycles, but I like that kind of. But just as a travelogue to see, they go all through Europe and up into Sweden and then down through the Baltics to see all these different places. Pam and I love that. We've been watching all of those. It's a fun sort of travelogue kind of thing. And it's got Obi-Wan Kenobi in it, so you can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that. It's genre adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, genre adjacent. It's funny. This is I since I looked up Gemini Man. So remember we were talking about Gemini Man. Someone I know has one of a prop from Gemini Man, so I looked it up. So I watched an episode on YouTube, and it's 70s television, but it's okay. So ever since that, I am getting fed all this 70s television in my feed. And while I was doing something else, I may have watched the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew meet Dracula.
Wow. Okay, so is this good Nancy Drew or is this later Nancy Drew?
What do you mean? Good or later?
Oh, wait a minute. So what is the Hardy
Pamela
Boys?
Sue Martin and...
It was Pamela Sue Martin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
70s.
But they replaced her. She left. She did...
Did they?
Oh, yeah, no. She did.
I know she did Playboy.
She did Playboy spread, and then they didn't. Then they hired someone else to be Nancy Drew, and
this is the second season of.
So she's. I think she's not in the third season.
Oh really? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, they did, and the other woman is totally immemorable. So that's why I'm saying good Nancy Drew versus bad Nancy Drew.
It was not great, but I'm like, I just got. I mean, I loved the Hardy Boys when I was.
Oh, I did too. I love both
12.
of them for different reasons, but
yeah. But it was like, and Sean Cassidy has to work in singing into this thing in a castle in Transylvania. It was rough, but
I can't even imagine.
But I know I've seen this, and I did not remember a second of it
because your brain blocked it out.
Maybe the fact that Paul Williams is in it.
Oh Jesus,
blocked it out. But anyway.
Well, I've been watching You season 5 on Netflix, which is, again, I watched the first 4 seasons, so I felt like I needed to
Isn't
finish
that
it.
genre stuff or no?
No, it's not. It's well, I mean, it's about a guy who's like a serial killer, so it's more Dexter-ish
I didn't even know what it's about.
than it is, genre-ish. But I continue to watch Below Deck season 12 with my wife.
How do you even know when there's new ones on? It's on 24 hours a day.
It's on every Monday because my DVR records the new ones. It's recording right now as we're recording this.
Oh, jeez.
We just found a relatively new show on Apple Plus, which I've watched, I think, 2 episodes of. It's called Stick. It's Owen Wilson.
We've been watching Stick.
Yeah, so I'm actually enjoying that.
Is that good?
It's Owen Wilson, who could either be fun or you want to punch him in the face. In this, I think he's fun.
Yeah,
they're saying
Mark
it's
Maron's in it.
Ted
Mark
Lasso
Maron's
of golf.
annoying.
So
yeah,
it's honestly has nothing to do with Ted Lasso.
It doesn't.
No,
and they're advertising it that way.
I don't remember that girl at all.
Yeah, Todd's holding up a picture of the Pamela Sue Martin replacement.
Yeah. Janet Louise Johnson.
It's Happy Gilmore meets something else.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we're only 2 episodes in, but I've definitely
we're actually been watching,
enjoying that. We recently finished that Your Friends and Neighbors. I think we might have talked about that, but that was actually good. I mean,
we're
Apple's
watching that
got,
right now. I'm not caught up with it yet.
It's good.
Apple's always got
I will
good
admit,
shows that are well made.
Sometimes watching that show, thinking, how bored does Dave have to get in retirement before he breaks bad? That's all. So,
if there's an interesting challenge, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that. Filmed in Westchester. I also watched The Four Seasons with Tina Fey, which was not great.
We watched that too. That wasn't great.
That was filmed in Westchester also.
I didn't love that. And they've just renewed that, I think, for a second
season. It's okay. Steve Carell and Tina Fey, who are both great. And in the movies, even if you go back and watch like Date Night with them, it was actually a funny movie. They're not even funny in this.
No, there's not a lot of humor in it, honestly.
It's a waste of their talents. Totally.
Yeah. I would say that one's a pass. I wouldn't recommend that one.
It was very much.
What's crazy is that they released a second season of Squid Game, and they're releasing the third season like in a few weeks. And I really liked the first season, but I haven't gone back and watched any of it.
I don't have a single idea of anything about that.
First one was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot, but I just haven't been inspired. 2 other things I'll give honorable mentions to because they're more like movies and documentaries than series. But I watched the Pee Wee as himself thing on Max, which if you like Pee Wee Herman, it's good.
I do.
And I watched the Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary on Netflix, which was really good. And I should have known by the title that it really only covered like the first 2 albums because it's called Becoming Led Zeppelin. But
that makes sense.
I thought it would be their whole career, but it's really just everything that leads up to how they became Led Zeppelin and recorded the first 2 albums. But really well done. So,
okay, what do we got that's coming up that we're interested in? I don't know how we want to do this. You want to do it? I guess chronologically.
Yeah, kind of by day. So we're in June right now. So late June. So
I'm including movies in this, streaming movies.
Okay. I've got streaming movies. I've also got so I am interested in seeing Ironheart, which is imminent tomorrow.
I'm thinking of that as like, that's coming in a few weeks, but
literally
it's
as
coming
we record
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
I didn't even realize.
Dropping. There's only 6 episodes, and they're dropping 3 all in one shot.
No, so
I'll watch that.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
The next day, not the next day. A few days later, Nosferatu finally is on streaming after 6 months. So that was
free streaming.
What's that? Amazon
free streaming.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll watch it anyway. I'm scared.
It is scary. It's really good. It's really, really well done, and just cool in a lot of ways. I mean, it's a tribute to the original film, but with modern sensibilities and modern filming techniques and stuff like that. And I think it's really worth watching. Barry, Dave gets scared by things like that. That and clowns.
Which streaming service?
Pictures of clowns. But,
which streaming service is going to be on?
Amazon.
Okay, I'll watch it.
I'm going to back up because there's something, and I didn't even know this was coming out, but it's out already. Bryce Dallas Howard movie, Deep Cover. that's getting really good, like Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know. Well, her, Orlando Bloom, and I think one of the towel boy from Ted Lasso.
Okay.
I think are in it. But the premise is, and I only saw like 2 minutes trailer. I guess some secret agents or CIA need people to be certain kind, so they're actors from an acting class, and they have to act as like. I think it's a comedy spy drama thriller thing, but Bryce is in it, so you can't go wrong with that.
Well, her last comedy action thriller wasn't great.
Was not great, and I looked forward to that. That had a lot of good people in it, and
really
it was
did.
not good.
That's one of those things
That
where Argyle, where it's like
and I'm with you. Like I like
all
her
these pieces,
as a
and this is
director
what you
and an
did with
actress.
it.
So
yeah.
What was she on? I watched her on something. Oh, I listened to her on that ILM podcast.
Yes, yeah.
Which was one of the few you could listen to without an advanced degree in aspect ratio, which I happen to have.
I kind of like that podcast. It does get a little technical.
It does. Some of them get very technical. Yeah, but
I find it
she was the normalist of them.
Yes, yeah.
So
what
anyway.
we're up to what, June 25th, the Bear season 4 comes out on Hulu, and they're dropping all 10 episodes in one shot.
I don't know anything about that either.
It's a great show. First 2 seasons were great. Third season I found rough, and they're saying season 4 is going to be more light than season 3. So I'm hoping that it's.
I still have not seen it. I've almost seen it a couple times, but I have not seen it. So.
It's really good. I mean,
that's what everybody says.
Again,
Ken liked it.
Not genre, but he's intense. The trailer just dropped for him in the Bruce Springsteen movie, which I'm not sure what quite to make of it from watching that trailer. But
there's something about that guy, and I don't know anything about him. He looks like he needs a punch in the face.
He kind of does.
I don't. It's just.
I will say.
Am I wrong about that?
No, Barry and I spent a lot of time with him before the Bear. And,
in what?
And I think we have a certain affinity for him based on, that.
He was in Shameless. He was in like 9 seasons of Shameless.
Oh, I never saw it. But I don't know. I don't see him as Bruce Springsteen. I don't know if I like that choice.
I'm not sure I do, and after seeing the trailer, I'm not sure. Like, I don't think either of you saw the Bob Dylan biopic. It was great. Like, I saw this trailer thinking, oh, it's going to be like that, and it seems a little more pretentious.
And Bruce is involved in this, too, so... Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
Now, I just want to, before you... I think... Todd, you mentioned this Nautilus thing.
Yes.
In a text, but it doesn't come out yet.
It's June 29th.
Yeah, okay. I thought you saw some of it.
No, I watched the trailer for it.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
when I saw the trailer.
I thought maybe there was another one. I'm like,
no,
Todd
it's
saw
AMC,
one that sucked. This is the good
AMC
one, maybe.
And Amazon, and this was something that Disney underwrote. They made 10 episodes, and then they bailed on it and sold it. And it's getting panned. I mean, I just, like I said, I just read the original book and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and
wait, they wrote a book from this show?
They wrote a book, yeah. No. And they said, so if you watch the trailer, it says inspired by Jules Verne, because the main premise of this is they steal the submarine at the beginning of the show. Captain Nemo built the submarine. So anyways, they steal the submarine. Nemo steals the submarine, and then he's being pursued by all these different parties trying to track him down and stop him. So it's just like they've really gone away from the original
I didn't watch
idea.
a trailer, but I saw the 30-second commercial on TV, and I thought it looked really cheesy.
Wait, is this a spin-off from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
No, which
no, I know.
I
know you hate that. I know you hate that movie.
They're redoing that, and I can't imagine them doing worse than they did, because that was, again, I'm going to say it, the comic was a whole lot of fun. The movie was not. So there's a lot they could do with that. So
there's been a bunch of movies like that. We should actually that could be a show into itself. Like Mystery Men is another good example.
Yeah,
like good comic, terrible movie.
Yeah, it's just like there's adaptations in general are hard. There's very few things that are equal experience, and I think we did talk about this a little bit in the past. But It might be interesting. Each come up with 3 examples of adaptations that really worked and adaptations that didn't. Here's the other thing: is there's a number of things where the movie is substantially better than the book or the source material. Usually, those are source material written by Philip K. Dick, but there's a number of those things out there, and so yeah.
Oh, that dude from Discovery plays Captain Nemo.
Yeah. And again, like I said, it looks interesting. I love the steampunky stuff, and it looks kind of
but
cool.
you want to know it's on Amazon. It's not on Amazon. It's on AMC Plus, which no one on the planet
also
subscribes
Amazon.
to.
So it's
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I think so. Look it up.
Here's what I think it is, and I could be wrong, but Amazon allows you to buy subscriptions through them to other services.
Oh, that could have
been
been
what it was. And that is stupid.
Yeah.
It's just like all these other people do, and you think, oh, I have this service that I'm paying $150 for. I can watch the show. Like, no,
because they're advertising Disney Plus shows on there too, but you have to buy them. You have to buy a subscription through them. Yeah.
Well, you know, anyone who has Amazon AMC,
but it's going to be on AMC networks as well, like ad supported. So
yeah,
I don't know. Sorry, let's keep going.
I don't. Like I said, I think it's going to land with a thud. It doesn't. It's like I said, the initial reviews are not good. They said that it's has a lot of potential. It just didn't get there, and yeah.
Well, listen, for Disney to produce it and then decide they don't even want to put it on their network on their own streaming service.
Particularly when 20,000 Leagues is kind of it's a
tentpole.
It's kind of a thing.
For them.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I would love to see, having just read the source material, I'd love to see them do a much more faithful.
I'm surprised they haven't done that
miniseries of do a series of 20,000 Leagues, because it's a really interesting story, and that I mean, I wouldn't say the movie doesn't hold up, but the movie is. When did you guys last see that 20,000 Leagues?
God.
I haven't seen it since
I saw it in the theaters when it came out.
52?
In 1955.
Yeah, 55.
I haven't seen that in 30 years.
I mean, I watched it whenever it made the cycle on Wonderful World of Disney. It was like 2 weeks in a row they showed it.
Yeah, that's probably the last time.
I always liked it as a kid. I will say, for the time that they made that, it's actually really well done. I mean, the Nautilus is very cool.
Is it on Disney Plus?
The interiors, yeah.
I would watch that again.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
I would watch that again too.
The interiors are good. Kirk Douglas is way over the top.
You want to know what's funny? That's the one thing that sticks in my head. Him being like, isn't he like shirtless and singing and something? I don't know.
And it's but that's good. And I'll say, like, the giant squid thing is just awesome.
I'm gonna watch that.
I remember
it was always my favorite ride at Disney World until they closed it down.
I just remember, as a kid, I just remember watching that show, just waiting for the squid to attack. It's like they're talking. When is the squid going to get there? So, I would love a model of the Nautilus, that Nautilus. That was really cool.
Some people, there's those companies that have made, is it Paragon or something?
Master Replicas had done one at one point. I actually owned it for a while. Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
So speaking of squids, Squid Game Season 3 comes out June 27th.
All right, what else we got?
Okay, are we to July yet?
I don't have nothing until July.
Old Guard July 2. Old Guard 2, July 2.
Yep.
Old Guard July.
And Sandman Season 2, July 3. And then Part 2 of the season comes out July 24th.
Yes. Yep.
That's like, what kind of stupid thing is that?
Why do they got to break this thing up? I mean, it's not even like it's a month apart. It's coming out July 3rd and July 24th.
Oh, are they dumping it all at once?
Chunks?
I think that's what they're doing, Barry. I think they're dropping it in two
They're dropping
chunks.
the first half of the season
and then
chunk,
the second
and
half
then the second half. In a chunk.
That makes more. So if they did it weekly, it would run on the same schedule.
We're not going this far, but Stranger Things is coming out in 3 chunks.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Similar
around big holidays too. Yeah. It's like just before Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve.
Yeah. On July 9th is Ballard on Amazon.
I'll watch that, even though I said I wouldn't watch it.
I know.
But there's not a lot to watch, so I'll watch it.
That's when the new season of South Park comes out too, same day.
And I like all the.
You watching South Park still?
I love South Park.
Okay, he's loyal. You just got to give him that.
Oh, hey, I watched the Hardy Boys, and
I gave up on the Simpsons.
Oh, there's a reason
ago,
to watch the Hardy Boys. Okay,
South Park is great.
And I did watch the first 10 minutes of the Starsky and Hutch pilot.
Oh God! Wow.
By the way, I did just confirm 20,000 Leagues is on Disney Plus.
I'm gonna watch it.
That's what I watched it on, Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, you watched the movie too?
After I read the book, I watched the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
is it a full book? I think I have that in a Jules Verne compilation.
It's a long.
It's not a long book, I bet, is it?
It's pretty long.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So Ballard. A few days after that, Foundation season 3 comes out on Apple. Yes, I'm still watching Foundation.
I need. It's good. That's the night I need a nap.
Then. And you guys got anything after that before Strange New Worlds?
No,
Okay.
Strange New Worlds is the next one on my
17th
list.
of July, Strange New Worlds.
And that's coming out one episode a week, right?
Yep.
I think we have to assume that, right?
I feel like, okay, well, we'll talk about this after, but keep going.
Okay. So here's one just before that I'm going to watch because it's like a train wreck thing. I can't look away. Dexter Resurrection. So
we just saw the trailer for that. I was like, "Oh, he's actually in it and he's alive?"
Well, they in the Dexter
This
prequel,
hasn't happened already?
In the Dexter prequel that they did, it begins with him being, because at the end of the spoiler people, at the end of the Dexter revival series, he gets shot. We assume mortally, okay? But at the beginning of the prequel series, the EMTs get to and he's still got a heartbeat. So they're transporting him, and he's in the hospital. He's in the ambulance in the hospital, and he's like thinking, and that's what he does for the prequel series. He's remembering how he gets started.
That sounds very complicated.
It's kind of.
Let me ask you this: how many, including this new one, whatever you're talking about, and I've seen none of them. How many are there? 4 Dexter series?
No, there's an original
fourth,
series.
I think.
There's an original series that's 5 or 6 seasons.
I think
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feels like it.
And then they ended with one of the worst finales ever.
Yep.
And then they brought it back, and
There was a reboot.
not a
long
reboot.
ago.
They brought
I'm sorry,
it back.
there were 8 seasons of Dexter.
8.
Eight
Okay,
seasons
that's why I
of
never
Dexter. They
watched
brought
it
it back, which they filmed within 20 miles of where I'm sitting. All of it, which is kind of cool. And some of those signs are still up, actually. And then they killed him at the end of that. Apparently not. And now he's getting better.
Oh, okay.
So, Barry, you saw the trailer?
And I saw the trailer for it. I mean, in a summer where there's not a ton of great stuff to watch, I might watch it, but I didn't watch any of the prequel series. I drew the line at that.
I will say I think I'm 4 episodes in it. I will probably finish it. I'll finish it. I'll finish it. It's Dexter light. I mean, it really is. It's just I got to say his father is played by Christian Slater, and he does a really good job. He's good. A few of the other characters that are recast as younger versions are really, really good. The guy that's Mazuka is awesome. You hate him just as much.
Yeah.
Okay. And the young woman who plays his sister, okay, is like a cartoon parody of the sister. She's just like every other word is an F-bomb. She's just it's all drama. And it's just like oh, she's annoying. And
you're not making me feel like I need to watch this.
If I hadn't started it, I'm not sure I would finish it.
Yeah.
But Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, and I yeah.
We know you like her.
I just love her. So I'm going to keep watching until he inevitably probably murders her. So, yeah.
That's a current show?
Yeah. No, it ended a while ago. It's actually it was on Showtime, and now they're.
I think it was last year, right?
No, it was in the spring.
Was it?
It ended in like April or something, and now it's playing on something else too. But it's Dexter First Blood.
Okay,
Right. But now they're bringing back a new season with him.
Actually,
Apparently not dead. Yeah.
apparently not dead. So
sounds complicated.
My next one is August 6th, so I don't
No,
have anything
we have
else.
the same one. Yeah.
It's July 25th. Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh, right. Yes.
okay.
Oh my god. I will watch that because
Of course I
I'll
will.
watch it because it's on Netflix.
Yes.
I would never go see it in the movies at all.
Okay.
Are you a fan of the first movie?
I love
It's
the first
funny.
movie.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the better Adam Sandler movies.
They're
all
there are
the same.
Two Adam Sandler movies, which I think are really good, and Happy Gilmore is one of them. What's the other one?
What's the other one?
The Waterboy.
What's that? No,
The Waterboy.
no, the
No
Wedding
one's
Singer.
ever seen Waterboy.
The Waterboy is awesome.
I've
No,
never
it's
seen
not. It's the Wedding Singer and
Wedding
Singer's good.
yeah. And
Billy Madison's okay.
Billy Madison
why?
is a sillier version of either of those two movies.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just but just seeing Bob Barker punch him is just brilliant. It's just
The Price is Wrong,
But
bitch.
I like Billy Madison because when he goes back to high school, he's driving like a '79 Trans Am and wearing like cranking Billy Squire.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I wish I had been doing
Right.
when I was in high school.
okay. Fair enough.
I will definitely watch Happy Gilmore.
I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if. Oh no, that's his. I think Julie Bowen's probably in it.
She
again,
is.
I think.
She is.
Good for her. Okay.
All right, so Wednesday, season 2, part 1, August 6th.
I will
Part
watch
2,
that.
I will
September
watch it.
3rd.
Do you kind of feel like she's moved beyond this?
I totally feel like that was lightning in a bottle, and this season is going to be terrible.
That's what
I
I've
really
it's,
feel.
It's kind of like I everything, and again, it's kind of the affect of the character. But everything I've seen of this so far makes me feel like yes, I'm doing the thing I'm contractually obligated to do. So we'll
I haven't
see.
seen anything about it.
Well, and
I
Tim
did
Burton
enjoy it
has
despite
this has
Tim
the Tim
Burton.
Burton factor in it, which he could just make this awful.
Yeah, or amazing, because
Amazing.
He has done
But
that too.
I really liked season 1 a lot. I have a feeling this is going to be a disaster.
I think the capsule lands back on Earth, and Wednesday
Everybody's
meets a monkey, something, a monkey, Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Instead
Wow.
of thing, it's going to be a foot running around instead of a hand.
Yes.
All right, what do you got after that?
August 12th,
Yep, Alien Earth.
Alien Earth.
Yep.
That's
Really good.
when it first talked. I thought it'd be like current day, and now they're leaning into the alien timeline universe big time. So
Yes.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
I've watched a
science
few of the
fictional.
promos, and it looks really good.
It does look good, and I got to say, they probably are doing a better job promoing this thing than anything we've seen for a long time. The alien gestation scenes are just so creepy. It's like it's just like watching the things fertilize and then they back out and you're in the lab and then you realize then you see like it's really good. They're smart about how they're marketing this.
And they've
Just
been doing
as
it
a-
for a long time.
Total non sequitur, but since you just talked about promoting something, did either of you guys see the trailer for the new Toxic Avenger movie?
No.
They just released a trailer. Peter Dinklage is playing the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's sad.
I thought that came out a long time ago.
No. It's just coming out. The first half of the trailer is fairly straightforward. The second half of the trailer is just a bloodbath. Like,
Jeez.
crazy. Anyway.
August
I don't have
21st?
anything until August 21st. Peacemaker season 2.
Peacemaker.
Same here.
2. That looks good.
And I don't have anything after that until Stranger Things in November. So
So August
Okay, Todd.
27th.
I didn't even know that was out. That was done already. Terminal List.
Yes.
Terminal
Oh.
List season 2. Didn't even
Okay.
know it was out until I looked it up. So that's exciting.
that'll be
is.
fun.
It is. So
I don't
good-
remember any of those books, and I read most of them. I think.
I read 7 of them, and the titles are very similar. Let's just say that.
It's just I was reading all of them, but
it's another
anyway,
topic for a potential show is at what point have you consumed too much media that you can't keep it straight? I think we're all there.
Okay.
Todd consumes the most.
Audiobook series, okay, that it's actually a novel series that's adapted as audiobooks. It's much better as audiobooks. It started out as the Columbus Day series, and it's became the Expeditionary Force series. I think I just listened to the 21st book, and these books are anywhere between 8 and 17 hours. And Karen's on book 13. They're absolutely brilliant. They're great. Barry, I think when you have time, you should listen to the first book, and then. But it's this is the one I told you about with an alien AI that is basically the size and shape of a beer can, and is a complete asshole. But it's just awesome. They're fantastic, and I
should listen to books in the workshop. I don't. I listen to a handful of podcasts, but when I don't have any, I don't listen to anything.
Yeah,
you don't put music on while you're working.
I've got
rarely.
I've got a bajillion suggestions for you. So,
you know what the problem is? Like 35% of the time, I'm making a ridiculous amount of noise, and you can't hear it anyway. So I'm always pausing.
Just have one earbud in, and that's fine.
Oh no, I have speakers and stuff all in the thing.
Yeah, no. As we're talking about this, there's another thing I'm going to mention because we talk about streaming services all the time, and I mention this occasionally. If you have an Audible subscription, there are a ton of free things on Audible. So you get a. This is not an ad either, people. You get one free subscription. You get one book a month that you can purchase, but there's a ton of additional content. This month, the third book in a series of 3 books, they're full cast dramas. Joshua Jackson is one of the characters from Fringe and other things, and
the Creek.
What's that?
He's from the
Creek.
Greek, that's right. Yes, but I just finished one, and the third one is now just about to launch. And absolutely brilliant. And it's
what is it?
Oracle is the series.
Oh, okay.
And he's a guy who had a sort of supernatural incident as a child. He lived in a haunted house. He can more or less commune with the dead or get like impressions off things. So he's basically kind of a quasi psychic who works with the FBI, and he's very much a tortured soul. He drinks way too much. But this being able to work with the FBI actually kind of funnels this stuff that's messed up his life because he can't turn it off. But it's really good. And I just finished the second one, and the third one just dropped. And again, it's a full cast drama. If you look it up on IMDb, a lot of interesting people in it, and who've done a lot of other things. Really, really good. And I almost consider this like my other streaming service because every month Audible puts up other things. And some of these things are now being adapted for shows. As I said, the Impact Winter is being adapted for a TV show, so should be cool. But
that's interesting. The guy speaking of Dawson's Creek, the guy who created Dawson's Creek has a new show on Netflix. That's called, I don't remember what it's called, Northwest or something that people are talking about. I don't know anything about it. I just watched the preview. It's got Supergirl in it, Melissa Benoist.
Oh, I was wondering what she was doing. How old do you think she is?
30. She's got to be early 30s.
She's 36. I just saw a thing today. It says 36-year-old. I was like, oh, okay, that happened fast.
So we watched the preview because we're looking for stuff to see, and
Let me know
I'm
if
like,
that's good.
she's in it, and then the warning says nudity, and I'm like,
Yeah, definitely. Let me know if that's good.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I don't know what it is. It's interesting because I think someone was like, if you like Mobland, it's like a crime family kind of something.
Oh, really?
I haven't really dug into it, but yeah. So that brings us right to September, where we said we would stop, but there is other stuff later.
But that's
right?
another show.
Yeah,
another
yeah.
show.
We'll talk about
fall,
that.
That's the fall preview guide.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. We used.
Okay,
So let's just
I
circle
got a
back.
quick question for you guys because I thought of this yesterday, and this is really stupid, but this occurred to me. Do reruns still exist?
Oh yeah.
I watch Friends at lunch every
No.
single day.
I mean, like on the show that aired it that season, that year, on the channel,
the broadcast networks.
do they
Yes.
still do
show
reruns?
reruns?
Yes.
And some of the cable networks also do. Even like HBO and things like that. If you go through their channels, they're showing older episodes of their original series.
I stream everything I watch now, and it just occurred to me. Like I said, I obviously I haven't seen a TV Guide in forever, but it's like the concept of a rerun.
They haven't made it in 20 years.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
There isn't one.
that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that's how, like, when you were a kid, it had an R next to it, and you knew it was a rerun.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But if you were to watch the Kathy Bates Matlock this season, every couple of weeks there's going to be a repeat.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if they still did that.
Not that I've watched
Okay.
it.
They do. And some of the channel guides that are built into the TV apps will actually tell you with an icon or the word new when it's actually a new episode.
Okay, interesting.
Because
And
so
if
much
you record it on your DVR, you could say don't record reruns.
you
Yeah,
say
but
just
that's
record
also
the newest episode.
Okay, I do only record new episodes, but I assume that's because it airs. Some of these things air at multiple
Well, that's
times.
the thing. But if you were to say a new season of a new show on like CBS,
Yeah, I just didn't know
Yes.
if that was still a thing.
Yeah, they
'Cause-
do because they've got a lot of time to fill up.
and then they do varying numbers of episodes. I think network TV is probably like that Matlock kind of thing is probably 20 episodes.
I
maybe?
think
Is
they're
it still
doing
that
15,
many?
16 now. I
Are
don't think they're doing 20 or 24 anymore.
I can't imagine. Can you remember that when every show was 24
26.
episodes?
It used to be everything was 26.
No, I think 15, 16 is that sweet spot now for broadcast, and then most everything else is somewhere between 6 and 12.
It never even occurred to me, Dave, that 26 is half a year. That they do, yeah. No, that makes sense. That's probably where they got that number.
Because when you really think about it, the TV season was September to May.
Yeah.
So June, July, August. So it's 9 months. And then you fill in
Then there's
specials
Christmas
and
specials,
reruns.
then you get your Christmas
You got
specials,
to 26 episodes.
Yeah.
And then you had your variety specials to fill in.
Your
some of the
variety,
gaps.
Donnie Marie variety
That's
special.
right. Star Wars holiday special.
Oh my god, it never happened. Doesn't exist.
So,
Yeah, so we're going circling back because we mentioned The Last of Us. I finally finished season 2. I know you guys finished it a while ago, and we never really talked about it. So maybe let's just spend a couple minutes. And I wanted to start with a question because Dave, at the time that we've watched season 1 and when we started watching season 2, I recall you saying that you thought it was the best thing on TV. I'm just curious.
I thought that episode. Yeah.
I'm just curious if by the end of season 2, did you still feel like it was the best thing on TV?
I don't know how many. I think it. I mean, that's second. Was it the second episode?
Second episode.
I don't remember what
Second episode.
Second
yeah.
episode was a monster. It was just crazy. And then the third one, I think, still, again, it was the high point, but I think it's slowed down, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think there's people out there who are like, oh my God, it ended on a cliffhanger and everyone's freaking out, but I thoroughly enjoyed that season. I think
did
it's
too.
the
I felt
best
like-
show I've watched.
I felt the stuff with the two of them bogged down a little bit in Seattle. That could have been a little tighter, but
I don't understand why it was only 7 episodes, unless it's like half a season and they're not.
yeah,
calling it that.
that's interesting. I will say
yes.
they
that's-
are not protective of those characters at all. I mean, when you think about this, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of shows are really precious about their characters, and they let Joel be who that character should be, but then they kind of built this cocoon around Ellie where you thought like, okay, Ellie didn't really know what Joel did, and they let you believe that Ellie didn't really know what Joel did, and then they reeled it back, and she went after these people knowing what he had done.
And I thought that was done really,
Oh, I thought so
really
too.
well.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But it changed. It would have changed everything if they showed it chronologically, and she went
Yeah,
after
if you
them.
knew that before she left, it would have been a very different story.
She had
Yeah,
told
for
Dina,
sure.
and she had told the other guy, whose name I can't think of.
Jesse.
Jesse.
it would, or that whole the town meeting people, it would have been a very different thing. Okay,
Right.
She basically kept that from them for to pursue her revenge quest, and that changes who that character is. And again, I think that's really good. I think it's it's been really
Yeah, I
good
mean, that
so far.
recap episode was really well done, where they
Superb.
took her from
Yep.
13 to 19 or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was really good.
That was
And
really
that-
well done.
And that the thing with his father in the beginning, okay,
Yeah.
Tony Dalton playing his father. This is Tony Dalton who I've talked to, and playing his father, and that one scene, and for the to the end there where he talked, it's just, it's. I think it's very good. I
mean, the writing is just like it's. There's so much more to it than so many other series.
Well, and there were a couple. I mean, it's very fresh for me because I literally watched
Yeah.
the last 3 episodes over the last 2 days. I thought that the final episode, while not as much action as that second episode, I thought they did a great job with that whole when she decided she was going to go to the aquarium. That whole sequence on the boat, and then getting on the island, and getting captured, and almost getting killed, and then the boat capsizing, and then her going. All of that, it looked great. Like all the stuff on the water and all that, it just looked phenomenal. But I thought that was really, really well done.
and the
It's
other thing
all
is,
edge of your seat stuff.
as we've
all the
seen,
time.
we saw half of a story there, because next.
Well,
when it
it's
picks
interesting
up-
that they haven't really explained to us what the hell is going on
No,
between
that's
the
what I'm
scars
saying.
and the
I'm
wolves.
saying, when we are going to next season, we're going to see that everything that she saw in that last episode from the other perspective. We're going to see why they went to the island, why they, why the
What's her name? What's the girl who killed
Abby.
Abby.
We're gonna see Abby's
Where Abby
perspective,
was.
but we're also going to see things from, the leader there, guys. I can't think what his character's name is. Perspective. It's, I think there's all. The other thing with this is, no one's a saint. Okay, it's like you can want to hate Abby, okay, but you would have done the same thing. You might have done the same thing Abby did under the same circumstances. Okay, that hate might have festered inside of you and driven you to do exactly what she did.
Well,
Okay?
and what Abby does at the end of this final episode, looking
don't
at it
know
from
exactly
her point
what
of
she
view, Ellie came in and killed all of her
Oh,
friends.
my God, yes.
And her pregnant friend.
Yeah.
What was
And
freaking
it's interesting.
heartbreaking.
What? So I was worried. I'm like, Jesse. Is Jesse?
Jesse
dead?
had to be dead. He got shot in the
Okay,
head.
so
Which is awful.
So the gunshot at the end of that. What's the gunshot?
I mean, Todd, you and I talked about it.
I think so.
First of all, I don't think we're killing Abby. Well, unless we do. See, here's the thing. Do we go? It's been said that we're going to see everything from Abby's perspective.
Leading
next.
up to this, though, they're backing
Leading up to this.
Yep.
But my hope is that they filmed those both at the same time, and we see that in like 3 months, not in 2 years.
God, I hope so.
We're
Because
not
if
gonna
it's
see it
2
in 3
years,
months.
it's ridiculous.
probably- my
I
guess
don't
is
think
we're
they're
looking
I
at
don't think
next
they're going
year.
to do that.
You think?
They had a lot of production delays on this, and
But we saw 7 episodes.
that's
we
why I'm
can't see
saying
another
I
7?
think we. They didn't say it, but I think we probably just saw like half the season or something.
I think just Warner Brothers and Max wouldn't put another season out that close together. They have to
But
I don't agree, but they have to optimize what.
I get
and
that, but
spread
you
it out.
lose momentum with this cliffhanger storyline. Besides the so
You can't. You
But
can't
it
go
also
2
was
years on
bullshit
it.
that it was only 7 episodes.
You can't go-
it
that's
was-
what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's like, oh, surprise, September 1st.
but
Guess what?
They covered.
putting out.
They covered 13 episodes with the shit for any other TV show in those 7 episodes.
There was very little filler.
No,
Almost
there's
no
nothing.
filler.
There's almost it's. So, anyways, the gunshot. Okay,
So it depends. See, now that's the thing. Does this show does we find out the gunshot after the whole thing plays out? It could be anybody. Well, it either
Well,
could be.
I don't think it's not Abby or Ellie. So and
Could
why
Jesse
do you
Jesse
think
Abby-
it's not Abby?
I don't think it's Abby.
We're gonna see.
Oh, I don't think it's Abby
Probably
either. I'm
7
just saying they
episodes
want
of
you
Abby.
to think it's Abby. They want you to think it's Abby shooting Ellie. And
Well, okay. I thought you were saying that it was somebody shooting Abby.
No.
The only two
Oh,
people
I
who
think
are
it is shooting.
who
I think
potentially are
someone's
still alive in that room. Dina, we didn't see, so Dina's
That's why I'm
potentially still
saying
alive.
it's Dina. It's Dina shooting either Abby or at Abby.
It could be
Because the last time we saw her, she was
the
upstairs.
uncle is on the ground. With
Right.
a gun
I don't
to
think
his
he
head.
dies.
The
I don't
uncle's
think he
on the
dies.
ground. Jesse's dead. And the last time we saw Dina, she was upstairs in that balcony level. So Abby doesn't even know she's there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think. But, and again, I don't want to know, and it's all in the game if you play. Does Abby and their group ever get with the Ellie group?
We don't know.
So
We
don't-
the three of us don't know.
I don't want to know, so don't tell me.
I don't want to know either, but I just, and I'm not going to compare it to Lost in any way, but when Lost was at its best, you had no idea what the hell was going on, which I really loved. And I like that they haven't told us what the hell was going on between
But I
these.
feel like there's... I enjoyed Lost when I watched it, but the writers didn't know what was going on.
Nope.
No,
in
and
Lost.
that's why I'm
you
saying
didn't know.
I like the fact that they could have explained to us already who the Scar people are, what's going on between them and the Wolves. And I liked when Jesse was like Ellie is a bit of a hothead, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Like I like that Jesse was like, this isn't our war. Like I don't want to die over these two groups fighting with each other. Like
Right.
Jesse was like, and then Ellie's like, oh, you're so important to me, and let's have a nice moment, and then you get shot in the head.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Which was awful but great at the same time.
I'm like,
Makes
oh,
good
look,
TV.
Jesse's really important. He knew she was pregnant, or now you find out, or blah, blah, blah. Guess what, buddy? Don't walk out that door. You're over.
I'm with you. I don't want to wait a year and a half to see what happens next.
I don't.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is Abby redeemable as a character? How are you going to feel having 3 episodes maybe from Abby's perspective? Are you going to change your thoughts on who that is? Are you going to...
Are you
know what?
asking
Abby
me?
could have been redeemable had she not killed Joel the way she did. She could have just shot him. She didn't need to beat him to death
Killed her father.
while her father was watching.
He killed her
While she was
father,
watching.
and he possibly doomed the human race.
So what's the big deal? People have voted for worse.
Killed
No,
her father.
I'm with you, Todd.
Killed
I don't-
killed every other person there except 2 nurses. Killed every single other person there, and robbed humanity from a chance to defeat this thing.
So is Abby redeemable? Sure, but she's also. I mean, she did not have to kill Joel the way she did, and she chose to make him suffer.
If you're asking a normal person, she's absolutely me. If I like Joel, I'm liking Joel whether he's a mass murderer or anything. So you can't go by my sensibilities. But I think the plan is for people to be like, "Oh my God, Abby was right the whole time," or something.
As a father, I'm not saying I would go on a murderous rampage, but I understand wanting to protect your child, and that was the. I don't think he could have gotten her out of there without having to kill all those people.
That's true.
Hopefully, we'll get all the answers that we're looking for. I think we're going to see more of Abby, and I think they're going to stretch. I think we're going to be 3 episodes into the next series before we know about that shot. I think we're going to rewind.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
going to make
we're
us wait for that.
I think it's going to be longer than that.
Yeah.
I just hope. We can't wait another 2 years. I know there's been
Yep.
all kinds of stuff, but anyway, we'll see. So, I still thoroughly enjoyed that. All right, that's a lot. So next week, next week something.
Well, we could talk about Ironheart next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ironheart and Nautilus. I'm gonna watch.
Are
Nautilus.
we committing to
20,000
all 3
Leagues.
episodes of Ironheart right now, or are we saying we'll at least have watched?
I think
the
we should
pilot?
watch all 3.
Oh, Jesus.
There's not that
Todd
much
already
going
has
on.
watched them,
Come on.
and
We
they're
will
not on
at
yet.
least have watched 1 episode, maybe all 3.
Okay, I'm going to have watched all 3.
I know you will. I'm not. I'm
Well,
just
okay.
Not,
What if it's like what was that one that was really awful? What's that?
Falcon and
Echo.
Winter Soldier.
What if it's like Echo?
I watched all of Echo.
Oh, I never.
Okay,
finished
back
Echo.
to okay. What if? But if we were talking to a normal person,
Well, we'll talk about
I watched
Ironheart.
one episode of Echo, right?
I watched 2 episodes of Echo.
Oh, really? It was unwatchable. Anyway, all right,
yeah,
we'll
it was
watch.
bad.
We'll
I was on a
watch.
plane and I couldn't watch it.
That was a mistake. It was a mistake. There's no question of that. So,
All right, next week something.
Yeah. We'll entertain you next week for sure.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
thanks for listening.